Start the regular monthly township meeting. Pam Dyke.
Here.
Shelley Buchanan.
Here.
Brad Chapman.
Here.
Tim Skates.
Here.
Casey Cole.
Here.
Okay. Here. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes from the February 10th meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, a motion to approve. Let's make a motion.
What's that?
All ayes?
Aye.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the township and road bills? Anybody have any questions, concerns on those?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion.
I'll second.
Casey, all ayes?
Aye.
Those have been approved. Public comments?
I have a question. Is that February 10th meetings or March?
I'm sorry, I don't
Should be
understand the
March.
question.
It should be March.
March, yeah.
March was the last meeting, right?
Yeah, it has, on the agenda, it says the 10th, February 10th, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
I didn't,
March.
I don't, that's what I didn't.
Sorry about that. Anybody else have anything else? No public comments, okay, general assistance report.
We had monthly applications by township, we had 16 sign-ins and 2 applications were Carmi. Total disbursement of GA of $3,084.92, EA of $456.02.
Treasurer's report?
Okay, under town operating accounts, we had a total of all funds of $591,957.05. Under road and all funds, we had a total in the operational accounts of $454,093.20. Total expenses of $98,278.16. Operating income was $59,423.02. Our money market ending on, March 31st was $1,728,747.64. Money market income is $3,431.87. Total asset balance of $2,778,229.76.
Any other miscellaneous or other report?
I don't have anything on that. Nope.
Trustees? Clerk? No. Highway commissioner?
Yes, our building is up. Basically this month we've been patching, we're getting ready for the, oil and chip coming up. We're probably gonna try to, we usually do it in August or September. I think we're gonna do it a little early this year. Possibly in June. Our vault foreman got it insured, for $75,000. We can go up or down, we can change that anytime we want.
On the building?
On the building.
You got that email?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, that's about it. Wait for the insurance deal and
The assessor? I'm right in the middle of 26 reassessments. Gary and I are just working together, trying to get things fairly assessed. I have quite a bit of things to look at. There's some new homes that, will go on for 26. Amy's good about getting letters sent out, to people, letting them know, you know, I'm gonna be on their property. So things are things are moving in a good direction. Carmi's really in pretty good shape right now as far as, where the assessments are, but with sale prices, there's just a lot of things that are still gonna have to get looked at, but everything's going good. Okay.
Go back on miscellaneous other that I forgot, talking about insurance, we did double check with Torma to make sure coverages are all of good places for replacement values. Thank you, Amy, for assisting in that, so that we could update that, especially since we have the new roof. So, Chris, you worked with them as well on your replacement value for your building and those numbers, and then the cemetery building and the town, so we are in good standing on that.
We don't have any unfinished business. New business, designate new FOIA officer.
Okay, we have the FOIA officer, myself, and then Mike Baxley was on here, so we need to update that and add another FOIA officer, so, I'm recommending Tammy Cole clerk. And if we can get a nomination, I'd like to add her as a FOIA officer. Okay, and we have a second on that,
Second.
all ayes?
Aye.
Okay, motion made. Okay, we'll get that. Thank you. I think we have, everyone has to sign that. Yeah, we'll sign that.
Okay, town and road employee health insurance policy.
Last month, we were reviewing some of had a discussion on the health insurance policy. I went back to the minutes back in September 26th of 2024. We had a special meeting for health insurance coverage for township employees, because we've never had any coverage before. So we thought it would be good to implement something for employees. You know, under the Affordable Care Act, employers with 50 or more employees do not have to insure employees, but in order to maintain and keep employees, I think it's why we went that direction, and the board wanted to address that. And we did have Matt Healy with Catalyst Health Plans at that night as well, who formed a plan for employees, and that we agreed to pay up to a maximum monthly premium of $500 for employees, for their insurance. I know that it's been mentioned that we need to maybe possibly, Chris wanted us to reevaluate that. So let's give the board an opportunity to talk about it and see if there's any changes that anyone would like to make.
I don't have an issue with it.
I don't either.
I don't have an issue with it, give it to the spouse or family.
Oh, I do.
Why?
Because we're a small township, we don't even have to offer it to employees, and I don't think we should offer family coverage.
I mean, what's the downfall from that?
Yeah, there's really no.
You know, I mean, if you're giving the employee $500, he might as well spend it how he wants.
We're not giving them $500.
Well, I mean, you're
Towards the premium.
you're toward the premium.
But we're not just giving them $500, we'll pay on the premium up to $500, anything over $500, the employee pays.
I have no, that's fine, but I think he should have the right to put his spouse or his child on there.
And there's a
I don't
lot
know
of,
why-
there's
I don't know
companies
why-
that do and there's companies that don't. It's an expense to the township,
That we're already paying.
Yeah, we're already paying.
that you'd be paying additional for family.
No, it's $500.
Just $500. I
For
got policies
families.
that,
Not,
If you can find a policy,
I mean, that's just, yeah,
I mean, we're maxing them out now.
I understand that.
Any input on that?
Are you saying that whether it's a single person or a family, it's the same amount?
Yeah, I understand that. Only $500 to cover the entire family?
that way, if the employee
$500 a
chooses
month.
to put a spouse on it, then,
Alright,
right? Or not?
let me jump in here, I think we're talking across each other, I think here's the problem. Pam's, and we've noted it's $500 per employee. I think what you're saying, Brad, is let's open that up. We'll pay up to $500, but they can add family, spouse, and children.
Right.
So you're kind of capping it at 500, but allowing more in. I think what Pam's coming back and saying is, just on the employee side, we're already hitting the 500. So anything over that, if you start adding a spouse and employee, or a spouse and children, they're gonna be hit with the higher premium anyway, based on just the math. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, so I mean,
Okay.
they would be out of pocket for the health insurance.
Which is fine. I still think the option ought to be to put their spouse on there. Where they have, whether it's capped or whether they wanna put money in, you know. I mean, that's just my stand on it.
Well, I'll
Is-
just take everybody, let's do
Okay,
everybody.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Is this something where we need to sit down with the guy with the insurance and
Oh,
say,
definitely.
hey, what can you tell us, what can you offer, you know, is this even something that, you know, we can do? Because I know on your case, wasn't it that he didn't take it for himself, he offered it to his
Yeah.
wife? That gets a little
Yeah,
tricky,
yeah.
because, you know, if, most places, if the employee doesn't take it, you can't cover the spouse, like,
Right.
that's really not a
Right.
thing at all.
And that's one thing in the policy that I would put was he definitely has to be on
Absolutely,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
he'd have,
yeah.
to- you know, he would have to have the coverage, and then, you know,
it. Right.
but, I mean, I'm not, to,
Because
you know,
under,
listen
under
to what they
those
have.
plans, there might be a different plan that would cover more of a family, you know, instead of just an employee.
I think my biggest concern on that though would be, most of your insurance policies, they're gonna ask questions. Are you a smoker? Do you have heart condition? Do you have this? Do you have
Well,
that?
But that's
So-
not putting us in the bind because we're only paying $500.
Right.
which is premium.
But that's
So
still gonna raise the premium
That's up to
through the
them.
roof, so.
That's their issue, not ours.
I get, without getting into specifics, maybe Amy, based on current premium levels and employee numbers, are we hitting the 500 just on employee?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
I'm 501.
But you're
So
not-
I have, but what I was gonna ask was, what about the accounting side of offering to families? I mean, that's gonna make for a messy audit, wouldn't it? No?
No, we would just have to budget accordingly, and like, I agree with Shelley, this is something too, we have to come back with Matt Healy and say, what's some options you have?
Because eventually it comes down to an employee decision. If you've got health insurance available to you, your spouse, and your kids, then you're gonna wanna know what the premium is, because you've got $500 through the township to spend, but if it's gonna be $1,500 a month, you may decline.
Right, exactly, and exactly, and I agree with that too. I mean, I'm looking at also, is $500 a month enough? You know, it's
Again,
not,
that's probably why we need to sit
that,
down and
that's
say,
something
you
we
know,
need to probably
how many years
increase as
has it
well.
been since you did this?
This has been 2 years, almost.
So, and insurance has went up, like it
Exactly.
has, so maybe we should
I think it needs to be reevaluated all the way
Yeah.
across.
sit down with him and say, okay, what do you got?
And we could have a special meeting, or see if we can get Matt to come to our next meeting and bring some numbers and bring some options.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't see how 500 can carry a, family. That's the
I
hard.
just wanted them to have the option.
Well,
you
if
know.
the board approves it, and we wanna go that direction.
I mean, but I agree what you're saying, but it really comes down, I mean, it's a road district employee, so it's, you know.
It's a what?
I mean, I can basically put any policy in, but that's, you know, I'm just asking for input.
No.
So, I do have a question though. So like with the city of Carmi, so fire department, police department, auxiliary, they got a policy. I don't know who it's through, what it's about, but it covers the employee as well as the spouse and children under, I think it's under 21 or until they leave home. So, you know anything about that one, Greg?
Not the one you're talking about. I know the general city insurance and how it works, but I think you're talking about a different thing.
It probably is, cause it's the free clinic that you can go to over on O.
But
Yeah,
And it's kinda like how the coal mine was, where you Right. could go out there
So,
Maybe we need to look into
that's what I'm saying,
something like
maybe we
that.
could look into an option to where that could be a
Maybe
possibility.
intergovernmental agreement.
And it could be
Yes.
a better premium, cause this clinic out here, we get our medicine. I go in there and get checkup, they hand me my medicine right there. If I need blood pressure medicine, it's right there. I mean,
It's free.
and it's free. So, I mean, I
Well,
don't,
the way it works at the city, you, as an employer, maybe within White County, I don't know if it's just Carmi, you can opt in. There's a premium that the employer pays, but in order to reduce emergency room visits, things like that, they have the clinic because they're trying to move people into a more informal way of cutting cost. So that, the city's done that, and it's over on Oak Street. A lot of you have heard about it.
yeah.
And it's a good thing, but it's possible you can, it's through St. Vincent, and you can, I don't know if there's an employee number size that you have to be to get in, but
That's what we run into too.
We may just have
Such
to
a small-
have a conversation with the mayor, because he'd be the one who oversees that, won't he?
well, no, the mayor
Or is that?
has
city
opted,
contract?
no, the mayor has opted into that as a benefit for city workers, trying to keep health costs down.
Mhm.
So it's more like the township would go and say, can we get into the employer provided program for the clinic?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something
I
to
like
look
that,
into.
yeah.
I vote to, make a motion to table it, and
Okay.
you guys do some more research.
Who's you guys?
I'll second that.
Who's you guys?
Amy?
Amy.
Like I said, I think maybe that.
Well, I-
Two Amy's, right?
what
The
I would
Jamie
do-
you're talking about, they're pointing to each other.
Who's ever gonna oversee this, my best guess would be call Cynthia Atterbury, who is the city clerk.
Okay.
I know she's directly involved with that on the city side. I can probably give you a good bit of info on that one.
Okay.
So Cynthia's my suggestion.
Okay. And Brian, you both made a motion to table it?
I'll second it.
And-
We need to get some more information.
I'm just kind of on this insurance deal, I've been through the minutes, I know this is not on the agenda, but I can't find anything that says anything about a cap on my insurance.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
We all get a stipend.
I understand that, but when the committee did the raises in November of 2024, there was no mention of any cap on my insurance until July of 2025.
No, it was put in.
And it was amended, it was amended in July of 2025.
No, I think it wasn't added on it wasn't documented in the minutes. It was on there. There was nothing was amended. We didn't vote on any amendments.
So then I shouldn't have a
Amendment
cap.
maybe to the minutes. I don't know what, there's something that's always been said.
No, it's set at 25% of the salary.
And the salary committee didn't do that the last time. We'd have to go get the resolution. It just said this was the max. It put a max on everybody. Like nobody got an increase on that. Salaries increased, but that stipend did not.
But there's a policy that says 25%, because that's basically my salary for that insurance.
I don't know what policy, you know what you're talking about, Greg.
This, I mean.
You know what I'm talking about, Amy? You know
What?
the policy,
I
the
wouldn't.
25, I mean, it was done when Jimmy Mallett was supervisor.
That's not a policy, but that was how they were doing it. The salary committee last time changed that.
It's not in the minutes, though.
It's in the resolution, it's in we get the resolution, but, and it was signed off on by the board. It's not on here. We wanna put this on the next meeting, it's not under here to talk about tonight. what was put in front of us.
Okay, where's that in the minutes though? Because you amended it in July of 2025.
This was put in force October 8th. So I don't know what the board amended. Where,
You amended it.
I don't amend anything. You can amend minutes, but it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, then give me what you're looking at. I don't know what, the board would have had to agree with anything.
Yeah, let's put it on the minutes, or I mean, sorry, let's put it on the agenda.
Yeah. That'd be
But
great.
before you do, I'm trying to get an understanding of this though, before we readdress it. I'm not saying do anything. Pam, are you saying that we had, prior to 2024, the road commissioner got a 25% of salary stipend for, health insurance?
There's not, what it is, it's a stipend. It can be used for insurance, it can
Right.
be used health, life, annuities.
Okay, so,
And
but it
prior,
was 25% of the salary prior to this meeting, or salary determination in 24?
they
Before the
used,
election,
Right, because you can't,
here it was, the last time it was 23 to 2017 was a 25%. And then
in
from
24,
17 to 2021 was 25%, then 21 to 25, it was just a set amount.
it was made into a dollar amount rather than a percentage?
Yeah, and it
And
was,
that's carried forward?
yeah,
Okay,
2021 to
I just want to
2025.
get a better understanding
Yeah.
on this.
So in 21 to 2025, they set it at a max. And then in 25 to 29, that max didn't change.
Well, we could go through the paper, but I
Yeah.
understand what everyone, okay, better idea.
Yeah, I think it was, the 2017 to 2021, but then the 21 to 25 changed. And so did the 25 to 29. So yeah, add that for the next agenda. Chris wants to put that on there. Okay, can I make next, yeah.
Road district concrete project bond in the amount of $1,090.
We got an email from Jim Sharp, and it says had emailed us asking if the board would give consideration to the bond, or what was it, he had to buy for the salt storage building. So I wanted to just put it on the table, cause we got an email from him with the information, and Greg, I was gonna let you address that.
You know, the way it was explained to me, Sharp won the bid on the concrete work to be done on the structure that Chris passed the picture around, which is out at the road commissioner building. That project has been completed. I don't know the amount of Jim's bid, but it's kind of irrelevant, but Jim won the bid. Jim did the work, and as far as I know, Jim was paid the bid amount. In the process of Jim getting ready to do the work, there was an issue about him being properly bonded or insured. Jim was made aware of that. Jim went out and got the appropriate bond and presented it to the township to make our files complete. The bond, I think, cost Jim, he hadn't done this bonding before, but it was approximately $1,000. Jim has contacted, Chris, you can speak to this, I think he contacted Chris, he's contacted Pam, and has asked for the township to reimburse him for part or all of the cost that he incurred for the bonding. Pam made me aware of that this morning. In thinking it through, I think it would be inappropriate for the township to approve of any additional payment to Mr. Sharp, and here's my reasoning. First, typically when you do these projects, if there's an increase in the work to be done or the bid amount, there's a change order done, which increases in some manner, and it's agreed to by all, the price is going to increase. That was not done. If you were to pay Jim part or all of the bond cost, to me, that would be additional compensation over and above the bid, which would not be right. I mean, I could bid something out and come back in and say, well, I didn't have enough profit margin on this, would you pay me an additional $5,000? No, that was the reason for the bid. So I'm not sure it's anyone's fault. It was just a situation where Jim was asked to do something that he didn't really understand in advance necessarily that needed to be done as a requirement to do work for a governmental entity, but it cost Jim an additional approximately $1,000, and he just asked if consideration could be given for that unforeseen cost in his mind. I appreciate that, but in my opinion, it's not a permissible inclusion of a payment that is over and above the bid amount with no change order.
So we'll make a motion not to, pay the additional $1,090.
I'll make a motion, yeah.
Okay.
I
Second.
just don't feel like,
Okay.
I don't feel like, he should come in and not having a bond though. He's a contractor, he does concrete work, so he should have been bonded ahead of time. It should have already been added to his cost.
Well, a lot of the workers around here don't necessarily do much, if any, governmental work, which when you get into governmental work, you get into the bonding. So this may be a situation where Jim's not done that kind of work and just didn't understand it. Maybe there was some miscommunication, but for the reasons I stated, I just think it would be inappropriate for the township to do it, and it's no fault of anyone's. It was
Right.
just something that, an expense that wasn't anticipated was there.
We'll email him back and let him know. That was seconded. Brad?
All eyes.
Aye.
Okay, First Bank representatives present information on current MM interest rate with the potential of moving all MM funds to First Bank.
Okay. Michelle and Larissa would like to speak to the board.
Thank you for your time today. We appreciate your business greatly. I would just like to say we want to point out that we try to add security and value. So we greatly appreciate your business. Making sure that you have FDIC coverage in some form or fashion is very important nowadays, of course we all know. And we make sure that we have that in place. And we try to do it as simple as possible. And we try to coordinate with Pam and Amy on a monthly basis. And we make sure that we pledge assets. So for instance, if something were to happen at the bank, then the FDIC insurance of $250,000 would kick in. And then after that, the pledged assets would come into place. And we make sure that everything's safe and secure. We also make it a point to make sure that we pledge plenty of assets to ensure that as the accounts may fluctuate, that there's never a doubt that you're not covered. We want to make sure that you guys are definitely taken care of, and we pride ourselves in making sure that we've decided that I am the throat to choke or the back to pat. I would prefer to be the back to pat, but I will also stand up and be the throat to choke if needed. So we also know that there's still some funds that are at another bank, and we would just like to ask that if you would entertain the thought of going ahead and bringing all that to First Bank. The money market account that you're in, it's a special account that you're eligible for. It's a tiered rate. And with that dollar amount, you would increase, you would break that next tier. So you would be making more than what you are right now.
What's the economy?
Currently, you are at, and let me make sure I get the APY as well. The tier that you are at right now is at 3.25 with the annual percentage yield of 3.30. If you bring the funds in the amount that we spoke about the other day, that would bring your balance to a higher rate, which would be 3.5, with the annual percentage yield of 3.56. Do you have any questions?
I know money markets fluctuate, but you guys have not seen a lot of fluctuation over the last.
We have not, so I mean, Fed funds has went down 6 times in the last, I'm gonna say 18-24 months. And we've brought our rates down one time in December of 25. We watch, this is not, I mean, this is just me looking at what Fed is doing, and if you follow the dot plot, it doesn't look like we're gonna see many anomalies in 26, but you just never know. So we can't bet on that piece of it, but we feel very secure about our rates, and the value that we offer. Larissa ran numbers, and if all things were equal, where did you come up with, Larissa?
So, if, like you said, if all things were equal, you're looking at $5,000 a month in interest. So, over the course of the year, you look at $60,000. And you would have the simplicity of having everything safe and secure in one place. And like I say, a phone call away, hopefully it's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Does anybody have any questions?
What's the one at Ventura right now?
1.66%.
Okay.
That was dated March 31st.
So by moving back, you're looking, what, to 2%, 2.5% raise? So,
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's beneficial to us. They make sure that we are receiving the portfolio every month of where our money is being, protected, something like that. So that is a big deal, of course, whenever we have all of our money in one bank. I think I think it's beneficial for us to do it. I think it's beneficial to the taxpayers. It continues to help us not have to pay the levy increase. I put the money market funds to move from Banterra's First Bank on the agenda if anyone wants to make a motion for us to do this.
I'll make a motion.
second.
Thank you all for trusting us.
Thank you.
Everybody agrees, all ayes?
Aye.
Okay. So the Carmi County City Dog Pound.
I put this on here just, because it's something that we're looking at as far as something that maybe the township can, maybe intergovernmental agreement with the county and the city on possibility. There's a lot of, needs there. I don't know where we could participate or what we could do, but I would like to entertain at least meeting with the mayor and whoever in the county that oversees the pound. I know there's a lot of, you hear it all the time at the county board meeting, there's needs. I don't know what township where we could possibly intervene on that. I know that intergovernmental agreement, of course, would be something that we would want to do. If we did do that, we would allow Greg to look at that. And Greg, do you have any thoughts on any of that as far as, I haven't talked to, the mayor yet as far as that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it first and just kind of say, we have the funds and we have, I think it would be something good and beneficial to the entire township.
Does that, increase our liability or anything with Torma? Do they handle dog bites?
I don't know, I have to check into all that.
Make sure
I don't know where that's where we would fall into with an intergovernmental agreement on what we would take as far as liability and what, or if maybe we would just assist with some needs. Not necessarily put ourselves as a liability.
I think, I vote to table that one too with the human healthcare coverage next month as well.
The human health care coverage.
Before we go throwing money at the dog
He said I
pound, let's
vote.
make sure the people that work for us are.
Well, I was, and I agree, that's why I'm asking, and I think there's things that we need to at least see if we could, you know,
You get
talk
more
with the
information
county.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I wanna go, is go to be able to maybe talk with the city and the county, and just kinda see what kind of
So you need a
participation.
motion then for you to do
To
that?
do that, and then also to find out with Torma, to find out the things that, before we, you know, entertain doing anything, I think we need to get some information on them, so it can be beneficial.
I can, let me give you a little insight, just quickly on the dog pound issue as you table it. Here's kind of the ultimate problem or issue that you deal with. From the city and county level, the dog pound is seen as a short-term location for animals that are abandoned or bite and have to be put in quarantine situations. I know there's been an effort to turn it into more of a longer-term animal rescue, which is really, we can argue whether that's within the bounds of what the government does or should do, but there's been discussions about possibly building a new dog pound or animal rescue. But the problem that's been confronted is who will own it and control it. Given what the governmental side is, it's more a protection, it's a human safety issue, not an animal safety issue, if that makes any sense. So, just alerting you to that, kind of the background.
Okay. So with that, that's why I would like to get a motion to at least look to do some research to find out where we could be, you know, beneficial, not taking over and making ourselves a huge liability, but I know there's needs. So, I know it's a big discussion, a lot, I think, at the county, the warden, and
The players so far have been, to whatever extent, the city, the county, and Pets at Risk have been talking different ways about what to do.
so.
I think it's worth a conversation to see if there's like gaps that we can fill, but.
And we can I'll just bring that information back. We can definitely table it, but I would like to make a motion at least to do some research and have those conversations.
Definitely agree with getting the information. I mean, at least to know what their intentions are, because that place out there has been out there as long as I can remember.
And it does sit in the township, you know.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All eyes.
Aye.
Okay, the last one under new business, public comment speaking time limits.
On most agendas, public comments usually has a time limit. We don't have anything on here. Robert's rules usually is 10 minutes max. I don't know if the board wanted to agree to a set time for public comments.
I'll make a motion for 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Because if you look at even congressional stuff, they're doing 5-minute increments. I think that's plenty of time to get the thought across. If you go much more, then you're gonna eat up an entire night with much more.
I'll second it.
All eyes.
Aye.
Executive session, none needed. Okay, who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
Are there any public comments?
Yeah, we
We
did
already
that.
asked that earlier.
Okay.
I'll change
Huh? What?
that. You elongated.
I know. Somebody wanna make a motion to
I make a
adjourn?
motion.
Thank you.
I wanna say, Greg, we missed your speech from last year, commending everyone for township government involvement. We missed it this year.
you know, I'll give you a belated speech.
Thanks, Kathy.
I'll keep it very short.
5 minutes.
I have to run. I have to run, I have another meeting. That was a good one.
I started doing this for the township, and I've done it for others since the mid-90s, back when we were over the building on West Street. And I'll tell you what I've seen. At the city level, at the township level, at other things that I've done, there's been a great decrease. Now, I'm not saying the numbers were huge, but there's been a great decrease in the people that attend governmental meetings. City council meetings, there may be 3 or 4. I see people here that attend, but there's very few, and it seems a shame that the great majority of people just don't have much of an interest in what these governmental units do unless it impacts them, and then they can scream loudly about it. I would encourage people to get more involved, but I don't anticipate that will happen.
Thank you, Greg. That was great.
And under 5 minutes.
And under 5 minutes.
I gotta run, guys.
I told you you had 5 minutes. That's it.